That rather intense intro song was by a band pretty popular about 15 years ago named Robert Landis. It's actually a joke. That is a song my older brother and I made with a friend of ours about 15 years ago. I just thought it'd be fun to put at the beginning of this video. So, taking off out of Homer here. So, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll line up on those white lines. The white line is 120 foot, 120 feet. The space between them is 80, so you get 200 feet from the beginning of the white line to the beginning of the next line. Just gives me an idea of kind of what the plane's doing, and just let me know that I'm getting off before 200 feet. Granted, things change. There's a little headwind. There's a little moose right there in the river. Saw on the way up. But anyways, it's not a very scientific method for me kind of seeing how things are going, but temperature's the same. That can adjust for headwinds and tailwinds and everything from there. So the strip I'm about to land in here, I've been eyeballing for a while. It's needed brushed out really bad. You'll see when I land there's like a kind of an alder starting to sprout up right in the middle of it. So when I land, I kind of veer off to the right so I don't go through it. It was about 250 feet from where the shrubs were small enough I felt good to land to where that green kind of leafy alder in the middle of the runway was. So figured I should be good, get stopped for it. Even if I didn't stop for it, it wouldn't have been a big deal. I just would have done a little lawnmower and over it. I don't even know if my prop would have hit, but you'll see it coming up right here. Hit, and on the brakes, kind of turn off to the right. And you can see there's actually a little ditch right there too. So I spent an hour and a half, I think, kind of pulling up, and I had my little Gerber hatchet with a saw built into the handle that I always have in the plane, and just kind of cutting some of that stuff up. And just spent some time on it. Got a pretty good blister on my hand. I didn't remember to put any gloves in the plane, so next time I'll make sure to be better prepared, I guess. So stall horn just screaming at me there, but I was pretty light. I had about a little over quarter tank fuel. It's not a very far flight from Homer, so I wanted to come in there as light as I could. Yeah, you can kind of see my right wheels in that little creek ditch. You can see some of the green, and after I cleared it out, it ended up being about probably 500 feet usable. If I went over there and spent some more time, I think I could get another 150, 200 feet out of it. Probably turn it into a nice 700 foot strip. The Wazazinski, I think is how you pronounce it, glacier there in the background. Just kind of flying around with the drone. I'm not a very good drone pilot, I'll say that right now. So I flew it around for about 20 minutes, and this is about all the decent footage I got out of it. Real jerky, but it does all right. But anyways, got it all cleaned up. Figured I'd like to come back in here and land at some point, and maybe have another plane further down the river and pack raft down this. The float planes will drop people off in the lake right there to raft down from this spot all summer long. So that might be something fun to do with the boys or a friend or somebody with another plane. So yeah, pretty scenic up there. I mean, I love it up in that area. It's actually in the Kenai National Wildlife Refuge. It's one of the few strips that's kind of grandfathered in that's legal to land on in the area. So for any of the people out there wanting to dig into stuff and make sure I'm being legal, I am. I swear to you. You see ice starting to form in the lake already. My buddy Jimmy flies float planes for a living, and showed him this video, and he's like, dang, I guess the ice is starting to build up in there. He'll probably stop taking people in on floats. So now I got about 500 feet. I paced it off to that ditch, and it's about 300 feet, so I knew, I'll just keep it on the ground until I get to that ditch and then just pull up. and out of there. The next spot I go to is out area by Caribou Lake. They're called the Boxcar Hills. This is a spot I've looked at numerous times. Just the wind was never right, or it was kind of hot out. It was the perfect day for it. It was cool. There wasn't really any wind. I was light. Had all the stuff I needed with me in the plane. My brother's cabin's just right down there by the lake. He had his cabin, so it was just kind of the perfect day for it. I've probably flown over it a dozen times waiting for the right day to come and land on it. So landed to the west, and I got out and kind of walked around and found that I could actually, you can see straight behind the plane. I can go back and push back, and it's another 300 feet, maybe a little bit more, taking off into the wind, because it blows from the south, which is right up and over the ridge most of the time. So the yellow stuff there gets pretty bumpy, and I could probably land on some of it, but when you're in the air, you just don't really know. So when I was looking at it, this spot that I landed I could tell it was really pretty smooth, and there were no big rocks and stuff. So that's just the direction I decided to land, though. After walking it, I kind of found I can come in from the north and land to the south, and vice versa in the future. And realistically, with the way the winds blow, that's, if I ever want to land here again, that's probably the way, more than likely, I'd have to come in, which there's plenty of room. It's pretty smooth. There aren't really any big rocks. It's not a bad spot. Almost thought the video froze there for a second. Nope, just me zipping around with the drone. Moose season. Some hunters out there, some of my friends were down the way and thought I was circling a big moose. I did about 6 passes over this before I finally landed. People like to say, oh, if you got to look at it more than 3 times, then you probably shouldn't land there. It's like, well, I could have landed probably after the 3rd look, but I went at it from each direction, and east to west, and west to east, and north to south, and south to north, and just took my time. You come into a tight spot like this, kind of out in the middle of nowhere. It's like there's no point in rushing it. Had plenty of fuel. Figured I'd just give it a good look over. Just hunched over there over the drone. Kind of a cool shot. I actually had hit for the drone to come home and land. That's the best shot the drone took. Was flying on its own. I'm going to fire up here, taxi back to the spot to the north. The wind had kind of picked up. It's probably 5 to 7 knots blowing out of the south, so decided, I might as well just take off into the wind. It's the same distance pretty much. You'll see later in the video I park the plane and push it back just to get as much as I can, and then pace it out. And pretty much 100 paces, whether I'm going north to south or east to west, the direction I landed. So it's like, well, I might as well just take the headwind. That, and you're just straight off the edge, so you can nose down and gain airspeed. Pretty easy, but realistically landing off to the west is the same. You just turn out and you're right down into it. There was one decent rock up to the left of the plane, so when I take off, I kind of turn. I go straight, get past that rock, turn. I had some little willows on the edge of the ridge there that I was kind of aiming at for my takeoff point. And I kept it on the ground for a while, just might as well use it up, and pulled off and 30 feet left or something. So here I am, just pushing it back. It's like, I might as well get the extra 10 feet or whatever. I'll take the time to do this a lot. Realistically, that shouldn't be the margin between taking off or not, but if I have it, I'll take it. It looks like it's more than 10 feet. 20 or so feet. Oops, slipped a little. Got my down vest on over my jacket. It was actually kind of chilly. So there I am, just pacing it off one last time. Getting prepared. Prepared to take off. Make sure I'm in my right little hole there. Give it a little shake. The Cessna shake. Stretch my back. Got a herniated my disc this spring. L4, L5. So I'm doing a lot better now, but still got to give her a little stretch every once in a while. Prime it up. Yes, I did not yell clear before starting the engine. I am in the middle of nowhere on this ridge, so not a habit I probably should have, but I didn't. So you can write in the comments about it and give me a hard time, guilt trip me, as people like to do on the internet. Up, off, went the nose down, and just cruise around over to my brother's cabin for a quick loop first, and then head her on home for a pretty good day. Dial back that constant speed prop. Kind of annoying having the tachometer all the way onto the right. The oil temp's even worse. Way over there. Cylinder head damn near got to be the passenger to look at it. Same takeoff, just from the outside with the GoPro 360 camera that doesn't work half the time. That's why I don't have a exterior shot of the landing for this. It just wasn't recording for some reason, even though I had turned it on. Seems like it happens about half the time with that dang thing. Maybe when they come out with a new one, it'll GoPro Max, I guess it's called. It'll come out with a Max 2, it'll work a little better. So anyways, one day hit 2 spots that I've been wanting to hit, and that's it.